Hey, what does Jared Goff think about all of this chatter?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions, Tuesday, April 22nd, and a Wednesday, April 23rd on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Matt Derry with you. Day 2 of draft week. Yes, Monday was day 1. Today is day 2. Tomorrow is day 3. I don't know. Let's just get to Thursday. John Macaroon, Lions on SI, and Detroit Sports Podcast is going to join us tomorrow on the show to talk more about the draft. I want to get right into it. We thank you for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and check us out on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. I am about done with the JMO talk. I cannot believe that we are spending so much time on this, and maybe I'm guilty. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. Maybe that this Jameson Williams, he unfollowed the Lions on Instagram. He put out cryptic messages. I want to clear this up once and for all. Please, can I do this? I want to do this right here, right now. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. I don't care if a diva wide receiver puts something on cryptic messages on Instagram. Did he always follow the Lions? Did he unfollow the Lions? There's a report that he just liked a post of theirs in the last hour about the new locker room that they've got in Allen Park down at 222 Rodwood Drive. So if he's liking a post about the locker room, folks, here's my biggest question on the Jameson Williams rumors about the trades, about the no trades, about sucker free on Instagram. And what else did he say? Jameson Williams, I got this sent to me by my man, Turner Batdorf, one of our everydayers, sent me this morning. He said, what's going on with JMO's Instagram? Loyalty before anything and everything. And then he wrote, stay sucker free. Listen, there is one man that is the most important player on the Detroit Lions team. One man. The man that if he goes down, if he gets hurt, if he gets upset, if he's not into it, the Lions have no chance. That man is the quarterback who makes over $50 million a year, and his name is Jared Goff. You chant his name at sporting events. You chant his name at Easter Market. You chant his name at the supermarket. Jared Goff goes down. Jared Goff gets sick. Jared Goff gets hurt. Season's over. Has somebody asked Jared Goff what he would think about if Jameson Williams was on the trade block? How would this offense work in 2025 when this franchise, who has taken enormous steps to become a Super Bowl contender, a championship contender? Do you think Jared Goff would want Jameson Williams traded, sent packing, out the door? Let's just say, for bleeps and giggles, that the New England Patriots lob a phone call to Brad Holmes. Who's the new Patriots general manager? Is it Elliott Wolf? I don't even, maybe, might be. Let's say he calls up Brad Holmes and he says, Brad, I want Jameson Williams. We will give you the number 4 pick and the number 28 pick. Or we would give you the number 4 pick. You would give us Jameson Williams and the 28th pick. And let's say the Lions at number 4, all of a sudden the Lions got up to number 4 and they got Abdul Carter. And you went, all right, Lions got Abdul Carter. Nice. The edge rusher we've been waiting for. What a move to move up to get him. You, of course, now don't have JMO and you don't have the 28th pick, but you got your first round pick. Who's playing the opposite receiver of Amon-Ra St. Brown? A second round pick? You're going to have to wait to draft at number 60 or 102 in the 3rd round? Now, again, you could get a receiver late. The Lions got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round. He is on pace for a Hall of Fame career. The Lions are not going to stunt the growth of their offense for the 555th time and have Jared Goff, who, oh, by the way, doesn't have his security blanket and offensive coordinator whom he thrived under for the last 3 years in Ben Johnson, or Benedict Johnson, who's now in Chicago. Instead, he's got Johnny Morton, who we don't know if he'll do well or not. Now you're telling me no Ben Johnson, no Jameson Williams. Why would you do that? Jameson Williams is under contract for 2 more years. At least 1 more year. They'll pick up his 5th-year option. Is J-Mo a little upset and putting stuff on Instagram because Albert Breer might have suggested that maybe a trade could be happening? Is J-Mo messing with us? Is J-Mo upset that maybe the Lions have not told him or his agent yet that they are picking up the 5th-year option? We got to remember who we're dealing with here. This is not the most mature player on the roster. Maybe these messages mean nothing about football. But ask yourself what Jared Goff would think about this whole thing, because that's the guy running the show. That's the guy that's the most important. That's the guy that wants number 1, no longer number 9, streaking down the field. He is your home run threat. And oh, by the way, one of the best blocking receivers in football. Lions run the heck out of the football. They pound the rock. They smash you with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And they bring in Craig Reynolds when they need to. Come on, Craig. Sione Vaki. They've got a nice stable of running backs. And you know what? Their receivers block. And J-Mo's one of them. I've been on Jameson Williams numerous times for things he's done on and off the field, for sometimes acting like a jackass. But you know what? This dude is a home run threat, a 1,000-yard receiver, and a damn good blocker. He is a weapon in the run game and in the pass game. Can we please stop with the trade talk? Please. If he is ticking off Brad Holmes to the point where Brad's like, get this guy out of here. If he is all of a sudden turned into some giant cancer in the locker room, which I don't think he has, then maybe you consider it. But he's under contract for 2 more years and you are going for it. If you were the New York Giants and you suck and your GM and coach are split on who to draft, maybe that could be an opportunity to trade a Kayvon Thibodeau and get something for him now because you're in a rebuild. And maybe you don't want to pay that 5th-year option to him. But for the Lions, this offense needs Jared Goff and Jameson Williams to be successful. Right here, right now. So I'm not reading any of these cryptic messages. I got friends texting, oh, they're trading him. Oh, they're trading him. J-Mo's upset. Well, he liked to post the Lions post over the last hour about their new locker room. I don't know what to tell you, but I can tell you this. I think Brad Holmes would be making a massive mistake trading him. I don't think they're going to, because he gives them the best chance to win this year being on the field. And Jared Goff, why take Jared Goff's arsenal away? He already lost Ben Johnson. Will Jared Goff be a better quarterback in 2025 if he doesn't have Jameson Williams or Ben Johnson? No, he won't be. We're not talking about Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes here who can do things on his own. Jared Goff needs a surrounding cast. He's excellent with a surrounding cast. No knock on him. What does Jared think of this whole thing? Jared helped hire Morton. Don't you think Jared Goff might be at voluntary minicamp today, whispering to Brad Holmes or talking to Dan Campbell, going, what's going on here? What do we got happening here? What's the cryptic messages? What's with Albert Breer? I would hope he would say something. Hey, give me an update. I think the Lions would listen to him. He goes down, the season's over. Hendon Hooker, Chad Allen, Jake Fromm, Eamon Reynolds, Theo Gridiron. I don't care who you put a quarterback not named Jared Goff. It won't be as good enough. It won't be as good enough. It won't be as good, period. Please, can we be done with this? It's my own fault. It's my show. I could have talked about something else, but I got sucked in. All right, coming up next, who is the safest pick? If the Lions had to stay at 28 and you want to play the safety game, who is the safest pick at 28? I'm going to tell you that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions today brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It is electric in the arena, and with Gametime, you can be a part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Listen, folks, your Detroit Pistons are going to beat they're going to beat the Knicks. They're going to win this series. They're the better team. Have you been watching the first two games? The Pistons are balling right now, and the Knicks are soft. You want to be at game 3 Thursday night for Pistons Knicks at 7 o'clock. Then you get home in time for the draft. You can get tickets at Gametime. Gametime makes it fast and easy to get Pistons playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer. Their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. All-in pricing is right there. It means no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, back in a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. Matt Derry with you, Locked On Podcast Network. We will have a call of the day coming up. If you want to be our call of the day, you can do so by leaving a voicemail at speakpipe.com. That is speakpipe.com/Derry, my last name, DERY, podcast page. We would love to hear from you, the listeners. All right. What if Brad Holmes is working the phones? Brad Holmes is moving up. He wants to move up to get that edge rusher, whatever it is. And there is a trade-up scenario that I like for a player that might be falling. I'm going to get to that in a second. But what if they stay at 28? What if there just isn't a deal to be had and the Lions must sit and stew and wait at number 28 to make their pick? Who would be maybe the safest bet at 28? I've got a name for you. I'm not 100% that he will be there, but I think there's a good chance that he will. And that is the 6'6", 304-pound offensive lineman from North Dakota State by the name of Gray Zabel. Zabel's name has moved up the ranks. He had a very good Senior Bowl. This is a guy that is extremely, extremely loyal, great teammate. Gray Zabel had a chance to get some massive NIL money after his junior year and leave North Dakota State and go play D1 and do all of that. He stayed. He stayed to go and win a championship. Gray Zabel is a very, very good football player. Today, Tim Twentyman at DetroitLions.com wrote a piece called 10 Prospects Who Make Sense for the Lions at 28. I had no idea that Tim wrote this until recently because I was going to do this topic, but the number one player on his list is Gray Zabel. Tim writes, Zabel is one of my favorite prospects in the class because of the versatility he could offer teams up front, and that might take him off the board before he can get to 28. Zabel was an All-American left tackle, but also started at right tackle and both guard spots. He focused on playing some center in the pre-draft process too. He's tough, technically sound, and excels as a run blocker. Tell me this, riddle me this. Is there anybody that would be upset if the Lions drafted Gray Zabel at number 28? Would there be anybody mad about that pick? No, there might be a player that you really want. There might be a guy that drops. Let's say just like on the Locked On NFL mock draft where I drafted Shamar Stewart for the Lions. Let's say Stewart falls to 28 and everybody's going, we got to get that edge rusher. But what if the Lions don't value Stewart like the fans do or like I do? Gray Zabel would be, to me, the safest pick out there. You could plug him in at any offensive line spot. He played, and I've mentioned this before, he played with Hank Fraley's son at North Dakota State. Hank Fraley's son is an offensive lineman as well. You know Hank knows Zabel very well. This is a kid that's a plug-and-play player. You can put him at left guard, move Mahogany to right guard. You can put him at left guard, have Glasgow start at right guard and see if Mahogany can eventually beat out Glasgow. You can play him at right guard. There's so many places that you could put Gray Zabel. He is just tough, solid, professional. He is the safest pick for Detroit at 28. He does fill a need because the Lions lost Kevin Zeitler. Maybe Mahogany is the guy. Maybe Glasgow still going to be a starter. Who knows? But you get a guy that is just a rock, has Lions ties, playing with the Fraley kid, all of that. I think that's the pick at 28 if he's there. It's safe, it's Brad Holmesy, and it works. And I think you put him at right guard, left guard, whatever, and he is there for a long time. And maybe eventually he's Taylor Decker's replacement, can play tackle. The kid wanted to learn how to play center before the combine and all of that. Can play all 5 offensive line positions. So if you're talking about safe, that's the guy we're looking at. Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. All right, so there is the pick that is safe. What if the Lions wanted to get a little bit aggressive? And we know Brad Holmes has done this in the past, and he has really liked going after Alabama players or SEC players and moving up to get these guys, right? What if this name starts creeping down? Every year there are a couple of guys in the draft that fall, that drop. Remember the Brady Quinn year? Remember in the NBA when Paul Pierce dropped, John Wallace dropped? In every draft, there's always players that drop and fall, right? Johnny Manziel years ago. Jalen Walker is a kid from Georgia who might just be somebody that drops. There are a lot of edge rushers in the draft. There's James Pierce. There's Michael Williams. There's guys near the upper echelon of the first round. We've seen Jalen Walker mocked anywhere from 8 to 11 to 15, all of these type of spots. What if Jalen Walker, who put up 11 and a half sacks over the last 2 years down at Georgia, 19 tackles for a loss, ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. What if Jalen Walker falls? Is that the guy the Lions look up and say, man, we're going to have to make a move to go up and get him? Because I don't think the Lions know that at 28, he will not be there. Donovan Ezeraku could be there at 28. Stewart could be there at 28. Sawyer could be there at 28. There's a lot of different edge rushers that could be there at 28. I don't think Mike Green will be there. Nick Scorton will be there at 28. All right, but what if the Lions are infatuated with Jalen Walker and want to get a player like this? This is a guy with elite speed, with elite pass rushing ability, who could be just a difference maker. All right. You got to find a trade partner. We've talked about Atlanta at 15 before. Could the Niners at 11 trade back with Detroit? Lions would have to probably give up, an exchange of picks, a first round, giving up number 28 and maybe even giving up their second round pick just to move up to get a guy like Jalen Walker. But if Brad Holmes wants to hit a home run, and there's guys that are falling, like I said, Michael Williams could be a guy that falls, his college teammate. Walker could fall. There's a lot of options. But if Holmes is duping all of us in what he is saying in his press conferences about need and how he's not going to draft for need, but he knows, we all know, there's no guarantees on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. And by the way, Aleem McNeil is a pretty darn good pass rusher for an interior offensive lineman, and he is not, not going to be available to start the year. So your defensive line is already at a bit of a disadvantage to open the season. What if we start hearing on the broadcast on ESPN, the NFL Network, or wherever you watch your draft? Man, Jalen Walker's still there. Mel Kiper, can't believe Jalen Walker's still there. Man, it's 16, it's 17. Oh, Milroe moves up, or a quarterback gets taken, or, oh my gosh, a stunner. Somebody takes Jackson Dart. I don't think that's happening, but you never know. These players, other players start dropping, and that's when Brad Holmes picks up the phone. He could not believe last year that Terrion Arnold was sitting at 23 when he was drafted at 29, and he went up and got him. And as Nick Baumgardner pointed out from The Athletic on this very podcast last week, Terrion Arnold, and I'm with him on this, could have a really, really big year this year. For a rookie, he did okay last year. Lions never thought they could get their hands on Jameson Williams, moved up to get him. Keep an eye on Jalen, Jalon Walker from Georgia. I don't think the Lions would ever think they would have a chance at a guy like that, but you maybe roll the dice and make a move to go get him. Moved up last year a bunch of times. Moved up to get Arnold, moved up to get Manu, moved up to get Vaki, all last year. All right, we got a call of the day from speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. We'll hear from one of our listeners and viewers coming up next. Oh, folks, did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any television into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles. You can play EA Sports College Football 25. You can play Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and AvoWed. I have no idea what that is, but as easily as you can stream your favorite shows, play your games. And it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. All right. They got all the latest technology for elevated playing with Wi-Fi 6 and 6E and auto low latency mode advanced technology. Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smoother, more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds you need to stay competitive. Plus, it's affordable. You play high quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. All right. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, 2nd gen, Fire TV Stick at 4K Max 1st and 2nd gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd gen. All right, if you have missed the Locked On NFL Mock Draft 2025, please check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Watch it on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Yours truly at number 28, as we told you yesterday, did select Shamar Stewart, the Texas A&M edge rusher. His RAS score is through the roof. Big body, sculpted, unbelievable testing. Didn't have a great career in terms of sacks, but a guy that a lot of teams feel is a hidden gem in terms of taking that next step and getting the numbers. Shamar Stewart was my pick. He was there at 28, and I grabbed him in the Locked On NFL mock draft. All right, it is time to hear from you, the listeners. Today's entry for our call of the day is none other than Dylan Smith checking in. He is our call of the day. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Matt, it's Dylan here from Iowa, everyday listener. First call. Brad tends to do best player available in our drafts that we've been doing the past previous years. Last year, he didn't do that since he drafted the 2 corners in the first 2 rounds. With that, how would you feel if Brad did best player available and drafted a receiver in the first round? Let's say all the edges, the guards are gone, and he drafted a player like Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden. I was listening to Crunch Time Sports, and they were kind of bringing that scenario up if the best player available was like Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka. Yeah, they didn't agree with it, but yeah, I'm just wondering how you would feel about that. So, thanks.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Calling in from Iowa. We appreciate all of our listeners. Not Ryan, Dylan, excuse me. Thank you, Dylan Smith, for checking in Iowa. Yes, our listeners are everywhere. Thank you. Interesting. I don't think the Lions are going to trade up to take a receiver. I think the Lions, if they get to 28 and are sitting at 28, I mentioned before about Gray Zabel. If Zabel's off the board, if the edge rushers they like are off the board, and yes, Matthew Golden is still there at 28, or Emeka Egbuka is still there at 28, or as he mentioned, Luther Burden from Missouri, Luther Burden the third. Would that be a guy that the Lions would take? Now, I saw a video today from Greg Cosell from NFL Films, and he was raving about Burden. And he's like, I can't believe he would not go in the first round. Again, Matthew Golden could be gone. Egbuka could be gone. Could the Lions take a receiver at 28? Yes. We've said it. And Dylan just asked about it. No question about it. I think Detroit is looking at this draft. I'm not saying they're looking for their Jameson Williams replacement, but yes, they've talked about getting younger at receiver. They're not replacing J-Mo this year. I'm not going to go back and talk about what we talked about at the start of the show. I'm just saying that is absolutely in play. Jared Goff, giving him as many weapons as possible. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having another speed demon, number 5, even a number 4 or 5 receiver that you can get younger with, that you can use as a weapon, the kick return game, whatever it is. I do see a scenario for sure where I think the Lions could go number 28 at wide receiver. It would surprise me a little bit, but I still think it's a possibility because they might feel like, look, the edges we like early, we know we can get some later at 60 or 102, and we'll get somebody. They could do what Nick Baumgardner kind of proposed last week, which was an offensive player. He had him taking Kelvin Banks, the offensive lineman, at 28, and then 2 edge rushers at 60 and 102. So if you go receiver early and get a couple of edges, that might be where the Lions go. But they have said publicly they want to get younger at receiver. They're going to draft a receiver. It's just a matter of what round. If it's in the first, and that's who's their best player on the board is, they would do it. This is a team that took Jahmyr Gibbs at number 12, and we all were screaming, what are they doing? How's Jahmyr Gibbs turning out? Pretty darn good. John Macaroon covers the Lions daily for All Lions on SI.com. He's also the proprietor of the Detroit Sports Podcast. He will join us tomorrow on the show. Thank you for making us your first listen, everybody, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. How about those Pistons, by the way, going into the Garden last night and punking the Knicks? Oh, my goodness. By the end of this first round of the playoffs, the most hated man in Detroit sports might no longer be Peter Bukowski. It might just be Jalen Brunson. Talk to you again tomorrow.